Yes, yes, yes. Come on into the building, you guys. Welcome to your homie HerbMan. I am your homie HerbMan. I'm your neighborhood holistic practitioner. Welcome to the HerbMan Show, okay? Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, this is the place that we teach people how to heal themselves, and you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to the happiness, wholeness, and the that you are deserving of. All right, so this is a free information station. You guys don't have to pay for anything. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100 likes during the live broadcast. I want food, you work for yours. Let's interact together and let's heal together. Okay, we want to heal together. All right, and once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll get into the subject matter at hand. I've been teaching you guys subtle tension relievers that you can do throughout your day, that you can do more often than popping a pill. You can do these subtle retention levers more often than you can drink a beer. You can do these subtle tension relievers more often than you can smoke a cigarette. You can do these things while you're driving, while you're working, while you're studying. When you're in the conflict, after the conflict, you can do subtle things to get you back in the right regulation so that you don't be so overly stimulated and so everywhere all the time. And you guys are thinking that you can go and buy a herb and that you can go and buy medication and that you can go and buy meditation and that it's going to stop your everyday life. But remember that we're not chasing symptoms. We're going after root causation. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that your environment is suitable to incubate the individual you're trying to become. You got to make sure that your environment is suitable to be able to incubate the person that you're trying to become. Now, I got to ask you a question. Thank you for guys coming. Keep tapping. You guys, I'll keep talking. You keep tapping. I'll keep talking. All this information is in your owner's manual. Let's get started. Now, when you first came into existence, you got incubated and cared for in the waters. And water coherence is the best thing you can learn. You have to water coherence. And you got different types of waters in you: blood, lymph, intracellular, extracellular, cerebral spinal fluid, synovial fluid. You got your reproductive fluids. You got so many different things going on, but these are the waters And for 9 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, however long you stayed in the belly, you were in the waters. And water coherence, the waters, it ain't the instruction, but it's the organization. And this ain't about how much water you can drink, but it's how structured, how charged, and how communicative the waters can be inside the body. And when your waters is in a coherent state, so we talked about heart coherence, we talked about brain coherence, and now we're into the water coherence. And when water is in a coherent state, water molecules formulate ordered hexagonal-like lattices. And these hexagonal-like lattices is what you call structured water, is what you call exclusion zone water. And all this does is it allows the water to hold and transmit information. It allows the waters to conduct electrical charge. It allows the waters to improve cell signaling. Yeah, you're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. Biology. You're going to learn spirit mixed with science. So we always going to keep spirit in it because it got to be there. But you need to know the science. Coherent waters also will allow or enhance the nutrient and the mineral transport. You reduce inflammatory friction with the waters. You can support the heart-brain coherence with the waters. You can maintain the fascia electricity or elasticity with the waters. So incoherent water looks like chaos, hormonal imbalance, stagnation, blockages, obstructions, fatigue. Coherent waters flow, clarity, disease-free, fluid flow, regeneration, vitality. And the most important areas in your body that this coherent water wants to organize you. One of them is in your fascia, because this is your body's fluid communication network. So you'll see that coherent water has to be in the fascia. It's most critical in the fascia. Another one is the intracellular fluid inside the cell, because this holds the mitochondrial energy. Another one is the blood and the lymph. Water coherence is important in your blood and your lymphatic system for transportation and immune clarity. It's also very critical for your cerebral spinal fluid, because this is the nervous system's rhythm. Very important and critical in the interstitial fluid, because this is the cell-to-cell conversion. And you got to know these things. You got to know what creates or breaks your water coherence. You got to know what builds it up. You got to know that sunlight builds your water. Minerals in the organic format. Minerals in the organic format. That means in food, not in GNC, not in the vitamin shop. But minerals in the organic format builds your water coherence. The breathing and the heart coherence we teach you in your owner's manual builds your water coherence. The rhythm of humming and singing and dancing builds the water coherence. You feeling emotionally safe and calm builds the water coherence. You having structured movement, you drinking natural spring and mineral-rich water will build your water coherence. But if you out here chronically stressing, depressing, dehydrating, you out here taking inorganic salts, inorganic minerals, eating processed foods around electrical, or what we call the EMFs, that's going to break coherence. It's going to break your coherence. And the herbs that we are introducing to you guys with the owner's manual, these are all water-based herbs. These is what the information that Dr. Sebi knew. The waters of the body. How to balance the waters of the body. The water is what created you in your mother's womb. And you are 70 to 80% water. You must learn how to navigate the waters. And when you're dealing with these things that are breaking coherence, that's when you're headed toward disease. And the owner's manual herbs are herbs that they help structure your water. Not just hydrate you. Do they hydrate you? Yes. But more importantly, they help structure your waters. They help structure your waters. And so when we give you Irish moss, somebody put in the chat Irish moss. How many of you guys have heard of Irish moss? Put in the chat 1 if you heard of Irish moss. 1 if you've heard of Irish moss. Type in Irish moss if you've never heard of it before. And you want to understand why, how did Dr. Sebi heal all of those people? How did he go to the Supreme Court and they asked him to bring 7 people and 77 people showed up? Dr. Sebi wasn't in there speaking about disease because he wasn't a doctor. But he was in there speaking about the human anatomy in a way that could allow them to understand that he understood how to navigate, how to circumvent the system, but still end up with the result. And that's what we're trying to teach you, is that art ain't going nowhere. And you don't have to copycat Dr. Sebi. You don't have to copycat these people. But what you can do is take up the throne of listening, learning, being resourceful, sacrificing, putting the time in and the effort. And then you'll see that Irish moss, it holds water in a gel-like ordered matrix. Irish moss, it mimics the human mucopolysaccharides. Irish moss improves intracellular hydration. Irish moss enhances mineral absorption. Irish moss is one of the most coherent herbs on the earth. It's one of the coherent water herbs on the earth. Dr. Sebi knew this without being able to articulate it this way. And that's how we take up the cloak of those before us, breaking down to you why it worked, not just because it worked. And another herb that we give you that is automatically in the owner's manual blends. Irish moss is one, automatically there. And bladderwrack is one. That's automatic. Those 2 are automatically in every owner's manual. And then you get all the other herbs according to your birthday. But bladderwrack supplies the iodine and the trace minerals. Bladderwrack improves electrical conductivity in the fluids, in the waters. It supports the thyroid. Everybody knows it for that. But it also supports the metabolic rhythm, the fluid flow. It also helps with fat tissue. So that's a very important herb to help out with the waters. And then also we give you some more herbs as well. So horsetail. A lot of people don't know nothing about these herbs, but horsetail is high in organic silica. And it's very good at structuring your fascial water. It's very good at improving elasticity, shock absorption. And it's also very good at coherence. Stinging nettle is a mineral-dense plasma tonic that stabilizes the blood and the lymph waters. And it's going to help support kidney and fluid regulation. And that's just those 3 or 4 herbs, helping out with the structuring part of it. Because when you're looking at the 4 phases of water, somebody put in there 4 phases of water. Okay? When you're looking at the 4 phases of water, right? The 4 phases of water. The first one is going to be form, structure. You got to have structure. Okay? And so when you're looking at the understanding of what we're teaching, then you got to know how to provide these 4 phases so that you can start to calm the waters. And once you establish structure, then the very next step is to then establish flow. Because structure without flow is stagnated. Flow without structure is chaotic. So once structure is established, then you must establish flow. And this is where the lymphatic and the interstitial fluids come in. And we have herbs in the owner's manual like burdock root that's going to help clear metabolic waste from the interstitial fluids. Burdock will help support the liver, and it'll help be a cleanser to the water environment. Yellow dot root, it helps improve the iron transport. It oxygenates the blood water. So we know what we're doing here, y'all. It's a system. I keep teaching you that. We have invented a system, not a product. We have invented a program, not a product. And you need a system to rival what we have today. Herbs like blessed thistle improves the bile. It helps with the fat to water interface. Blessed thistle prevents emulsification breakdown. Herbs like barberry root. Barberry. Now you got bayberry and then you got barberry. We're talking about barberry. It's yellow with the berberine. Barberry root is an antimicrobial water cleanser. It prevents incoherent biofilms. It supports the gut to fluid integrity. These are the herbs that help out with the flow. With the flow. All of this is in your owner's manual. Okay? All of this is in your owner's manual, okay? And so the third thing is that we have to look at, once we get the structure, once we get the flow, once we have earth established, once we have air established, now we can start communicating, okay? So the next one is going to be the signaling. Somebody say signaling, communication. And this is where the nervous system and the cerebral spinal fluid coherence comes in. This is where the rhythm and the calm comes into play. And we have herbs like skullcap in your owner's manual. It's going to help calm the neural signaling. It'll help restore the cerebral spinal fluid rhythm. It supports the parasympathetic dominance, which is what you need for the rest and the repair. There's another herb that we use also in